Have you ever thought that your days of romance are behind you? Well, think again. Dating after 60 can be one of the most rewarding experiences of your life. Whether you're hoping to find love, a good friend, or just someone to share a cup of coffee with, there's no expiration date on connection. And I'm so glad you're here with me today to talk about it. Finding a partner at this stage of life is about so much more than just filling a seat at the dinner table. It's about discovering someone who gets you. Someone who can laugh with you, support you, and make those everyday moments feel a little brighter. Maybe you've been on your own for a while, or perhaps you're stepping back into the dating world after a big change. Whatever your story, you deserve companionship that lifts you up, and I'm here to help you make it happen. In this video, we're going to walk through 5 key strategies to help you navigate dating with confidence and excitement. These are simple, practical steps that can open the door to new possibilities, and I can't wait to share them with you. Let's kick things off with something that might sound basic but is absolutely essential. Figuring out what you really want in a partner. I know it's tempting to think that at this point, you should just take what comes along, someone who's nice enough or available. But let me tell you, that's not how it works, and it's definitely not what you deserve. You've lived a full life, gathered wisdom, and learned what makes you happy. Why settle now? So, grab a cup of tea, sit down for a moment, and think about what matters most to you. Do you dream of someone who loves hitting the open road for a spontaneous trip? Or maybe you'd rather have a cozy night in with a movie and a warm blanket. Jot down a few things that feel non-negotiable, like kindness, a good sense of humor, or shared values, and then add some nice-to-haves, like a fellow gardening enthusiast or someone who doesn't mind your cat taking over the couch. This little list isn't about being picky. It's about guiding yourself towards someone who truly fits into your world. Now, I get it, starting this process can feel a bit daunting. Maybe it's been years since you last went on a date, and the whole idea makes your stomach do a little flip. That's completely normal. Everyone feels a touch of nerves when they're stepping into something new, no matter how old they are. The trick is to ease into it and give yourself some grace. Ask yourself what kind of connection you're after. Are you looking for a casual companion to enjoy outings with? Or are you hoping for something deeper, a real partnership? There's no wrong answer here. It's all about what feels right for you at this moment in your life. Take it one step at a time, and don't put pressure on yourself to have it all figured out overnight. Once you've got a clearer picture of what you're looking for, the next question is, where do you find this wonderful person? The good news is that the dating world has changed a lot since the days of meeting someone at a dance hall or through a neighbor's introduction, and those changes can work in your favor. Sure, it might feel a little overwhelming at first, but it also means there are more ways than ever to meet people who share your interests. One option that's become really popular is online dating, and before you roll your eyes and say, "That's not for me," hear me out, it's easier than you might think. There are websites and apps made just for folks over 60, so you won't feel out of place. Pick one that's well-known and trusted, then set up a profile that shows off who you are. Be real about your hobbies and what you enjoy. Maybe mention your love for a good book or your famous homemade pie. Add a photo that makes you smile when you see it, one that feels like the real you. And don't be shy. Send a friendly hello to someone whose profile catches your eye. It's like passing a note in class, but without the risk of getting caught. Safety's important too, so let's keep that in mind. When you're ready to meet someone in person, pick a public spot like a cafe or a park, and let a friend or family member know where you'll be. Trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it's okay to say no thanks and move on. But online dating isn't the only game in town. You can also meet people the old-fashioned way, just with a modern twist. Think about joining a group that ties into something you love. A book club could lead to chats over coffee, or a gardening class might introduce you to someone who's just as passionate about roses as you are. Community events, volunteer gigs, even a dance night at the senior center. These are all gold mines for meeting people naturally, without any pressure. And don't overlook the people already in your life. Tell your friends, your kids, or even your neighbor that you're open to meeting someone. They might say, "Oh, you'd get along great with my cousin." Or, "I know someone who's been wanting to get out more too." It's like having a little team of matchmakers rooting for you, and it feels good to let them help. The key with all these options is to stay open to the possibilities. You might not meet your perfect match on day one, But every step you take is a chance to connect with someone new. Dating's an adventure, and you're just getting started. So keep that spark of curiosity alive and enjoy where it takes you. So, you've got a sense of who you're looking for and some great places to start meeting people, whether it's online through a hobby or with a little nudge from your friends. That's a fantastic foundation, but let's take it a step further and talk about how you show up when you're putting yourself out there. Confidence is a big part of this, and I don't mean strutting around like you're 25 again, though if that's your style, go for it. I'm talking about that quiet, steady belief in yourself that says, I've got something special to offer. Because you do. You've got stories, experiences, and a perspective that no one else can match, and that's your secret weapon in dating. Building that confidence starts with feeling good about yourself, inside and out. Now, I'm not saying you need to overhaul your whole life or squeeze into some outfit you'd rather donate to charity. It's about small things that make you feel like the best version of you. Maybe it's wearing that shirt that always gets compliments, or taking a little extra time to fix your hair the way you like it. I remember my friend Margaret. She's 68 and swears by her favorite red scarf. She says it's like her lucky charm. Every time she wears it, she feels a little bolder. Find your own version of that red scarf, something that gives you a lift. And don't underestimate the power of a smile. It's the easiest way to light up a room and let someone know you're approachable. Practice in the mirror if you have to. It's worth it. But confidence isn't just about how you look. It's how you carry yourself too. Think about the last time you met someone new. What made you feel at ease with them? Chances are, it was the way they listened or how they seemed genuinely interested in what you had to say. You can be that person too. When you're chatting with someone, really tune in. Ask about their favorite trip or what they've been up to lately, and let the conversation flow. You don't need a script or a fancy line. Just be yourself. I'll let you in on a little secret. Most people aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for someone real. So, if you stumble over your words or laugh at your own joke, that's okay. It's endearing. The more you relax into being you, the more others will feel comfortable around you. Now let's say you've met someone and it's time for that first coffee date or a walk in the park. How do you make it go smoothly? One thing that works wonders is keeping it light and fun, especially at the start. You don't need to dive into your whole life story right away or figure out if they're the one over a single cappuccino. Think of it like dipping your toes in the water, not jumping into the deep end. Pick a spot you enjoy, a familiar cafe or a pretty spot by the lake, so you're already at ease. And come prepared with a couple of easy questions to get things rolling. Something like, what's the best thing you've done this month? Or do you have a favorite place around here? Keeps it simple and opens the door to a real conversation. Here's a little story for you. My neighbor Tom, who's 72, went on his first date in years a few months back. He was nervous as could be, but he decided to take her to a local diner he loved. They ended up talking about the jukebox in the corner and their favorite old songs. It wasn't fancy, but it was them. They've been out a few times since, and he says it's because he didn't try to be anyone he wasn't. That's the magic of keeping it real. So, plan something that feels like you and let the rest unfold naturally. If it's a good fit, you'll know. And if it's not, that's fine too. Not every date has to lead somewhere big. Sometimes it's just a nice afternoon with a new face. Another thing to keep in mind is pacing yourself. Dating can feel exciting, but it's not a race. You don't have to meet 10 people in a week or decide someone's your soulmate after one chat. Take it slow and enjoy the process. Maybe you go out once and decide you'd like to see them again. Great. Or maybe you realize they're not quite your cup of tea, and that's okay too. The beauty of this stage of life is that you've got the freedom to choose what works for you, without all the rush and pressure of younger years. I've seen folks jump in too fast and get burned out, so give yourself room to breathe. One good connection is worth more than a dozen rushed ones. And don't be afraid to have a little fun with it. Dating doesn't have to be serious all the time. Laugh at the awkward moments, like when you both reach for the check or accidentally call them by your dog's name. Those hiccups are part of the adventure, and they make for great stories later. The more you lean into the lightness of it, the easier it gets. You're not auditioning for a role. You're just seeing where things go, and that's a pretty wonderful place to be. Now that you're feeling more comfortable putting yourself out there and enjoying those first meetings, let's talk about something that can really make a difference as you go along. Being open to what comes your way. I know it's easy to get stuck on that list you made, the one with all the qualities you're hoping for in a partner. And it's good to know what you want. But sometimes, life has a funny way of surprising us with people who don't quite fit the mold yet turn out to be exactly what we need. Think of it like trying a new recipe. You might not have all the ingredients you planned, but what you whip up still tastes delicious. Take my friend Clara, for example. She's 65 and always pictured herself with someone tall, outdoorsy, and quiet, someone who'd hike with her on weekends. Then she met Jim at a library event. He's shorter than she is, prefers puzzles to trails, and loves to chat. At first she wasn't sure, but she gave it a chance because he made her laugh like no one else. A year later, they're inseparable, and she says she wouldn't trade his quirky stories for all the hiking boots in the world. That's what I mean by staying open. Give people a shot, even if they're not what you imagined. You might find a spark in the most unexpected places. And isn't that part of the fun? Being open also means letting go of some of those old ideas about dating that might not fit anymore. Maybe you grew up thinking the man always makes the first move, or that you need to wait for someone to sweep you off your feet. But here's the thing, you're in charge now. If you meet someone you like, there's no rule saying you can't send that first message or suggest grabbing ice cream. I've heard so many stories of folks our age who took the lead and ended up with the best dates of their lives. It's your story to write, so don't be afraid to pick up the pen. And if someone doesn't match your energy or treat you with the respect you deserve, it's okay to walk away. You've earned the right to surround yourself with people who make you feel good. No exceptions. As you keep meeting people and going on these little adventures, you'll start to notice what clicks and what doesn't. That's where the last piece comes in, trusting yourself to know when it's right. You've got decades of life under your belt, and that's given you a pretty sharp sense of what works for you. Listen to it. When you're with someone, pay attention to how you feel. Do you light up when they're around? Do you look forward to seeing them again? Or do you feel drained, like you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole? There's no rush to decide, but your gut will tell you a lot if you let it. I remember talking to my cousin Ed. He's 70 and met a lovely woman at a card game. After a few weeks, he told me, "I just feel like myself with her, you know?" That's the kind of ease you're aiming for. Someone who feels like home. And here's the beautiful part. Whether you find a partner or not, this whole journey is about you. Every step you take, every coffee date, every new conversation, is a chance to enjoy your own company and see what you're capable of. You're showing yourself that you're still in the game, still growing, still open to joy. That's a win all on its own. But when you do connect with someone special, it's like the cherry on top, sweet and worth the wait. So, keep going at your own pace and don't let a few bumps discourage you. Some dates might fizzle, and that's okay. They're just practice for the ones that light up your world. Looking back at everything we've talked about, it's really about taking small, brave steps toward what you want. You've figured out what matters to you, explored ways to meet people, brought your best self to the table, stayed open to surprises, and learned to trust your instincts. Those are the ingredients for something pretty amazing, and they're all in your hands. I hope you feel a little spark of excitement about what's ahead, because you deserve every bit of happiness that comes your way. Small changes like these can open doors you didn't even know were there, and who knows what's waiting on the other side. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's been your favorite part of dating, or what's something you're looking forward to trying? Share your stories with me. It's so much fun to hear what you're up to. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, it really helps. And hit that subscribe button so we can keep chatting about all the good stuff in life. Here's to finding connection, having a laugh, and living your best life at any age. Cheers to you.